good people in it, and they fought many a good battle. You follow me?
Yes, sir.
And I can remember some of the battles we were in, and I remember the winter we went through. The winter, even the winter of 1950, we didn't have the winter equipment. You know, when we got
The
there,
winter gear, yeah.
we didn't stay that long up there. We just loaded up and then moved it out. A whole shipload of people came over. I don't know how many was on the ship, and they signed us as units. And then even when the winter started in 1951, we did have, at that time, we did get winter type sleeping bags.
Mm-hmm.
But the first winter we had the summer type,
Right.
which was just a blanket, you know, of waterproofing thing. That's it. And we didn't have the winter type sleeping bag, which the winter type was a sleeping bag to keep you warm.
Yeah.
You could get it and zip and stand up in it.
Under all conditions.
Yeah, but the summer type, I can remember you freeze to death, the first one. But we did have that, and I can remember we finally got snow packs. Now, snowpack is a type of boot. Boot you wear, you know,
Yeah.
you don't wear a shoe in it. You wear it just, it's a shoe itself, it's a boot. But it's got, you put pads in it called a snowpack. And that would keep your feet somewhat warm. But the first one, you know, we hit up there, it's 30 or 40 below, they all got frozen toes, you know,
Yes.
both of them. They just froze solid.
You brought up a story, and we didn't elaborate on it, we just touched on it. The 7th Cavalry, am I saying that right?
The what?
The 17th. The 17th Cavalry, is that?
17th Infantry.
And 17th Infantry.
Yeah.
You made a comment that at some point there were a couple of grenades that exploded near the warming fires.
Well, the 17th Infantry was down there, and everybody had their ammunition, you know, from, they brought it with them when they got back on the ship and unloaded them Poussin, set up, you know, defensive position. And it's cold in hell, as you probably noticed already
Yeah.
about reading the stuff. Well, we built fires to keep warm, you know.
Right.
You know, at night if you was up on a defensive line, you couldn't have a fire to give you position away. But when we was back and during the daytime, you could find some stuff and build a damn fire.
Right.
And we couldn't find anything else, we'd burn the spare tire off a Jeep, you know, start a fire, you know. But somehow or another, something happened, some type of explosion. It's claimed it was grenades got into the fire, not where I was, but the 17th Infantry, and they exploded and injured several people. You follow me?
Okay.
So someone issued an order from high up that we should turn in everything except a basic load of small arms, you know, for your rifle or for your pistol. But all your grenades and stuff, you turn them in, you know.
Okay.
So they were turned in and stored, and then they all of a sudden decided that the 17th Infantry was moving up. They got on trains, boxes, to move up wherever they was going to the front lines, and somehow or another they got ambushed, you know, and they didn't have, they had the base low, but they didn't have the firepower, and they didn't even have machine guns mounted on top of the cattle cars.
Is it possible, because you say it was colder than hell?
Oh, it was 30, 40 below.
Right. My impression, and you tell me if this is possible, is it possible, because the 17th Infantry is up at Heisingen at some point with a bunch of rocks, you know, a bunch of South Koreans, right?
They don't know how they.
Could they have been heading south on a train?
Yeah, they could have. Yeah.
Okay.
You see, what they'd use, the troop train, if you want to call it that, was this engine and cattle cars. And then after that incident with 17th, which I don't know if it ever printed it or not,
It's not.
then they mounted machine guns on top of each car.
Right.
You follow me? Each car itself had 50 caliber machine guns
Each
mounted.
train car.
Oh yeah, they're all the way down. So, to my knowledge, there was no more ambushes after them. You know,
Yeah.
because they had the firepower.
Your story suggests that you came in at Ewan, you go north to the Yalu with the 17th, and with McLean, and with Faith, the
Right.
32nd. 17th gets moved out, they get jumped, you end up at Hom Hung, and then back up into Chosin.
Yeah, we went back.
Dude,
up.
you put a lot of mileage on.
Yeah, I don't know if the whole 2nd Battalion went or just detachments, but I know that people was assigned to
Well,
Faith, which was 31st Infantry. He was commanding. He
and
was
the reason,
Lieutenant Colonel
and the reason
then.
was 2nd Battalion got broke up.
Right.
And part
Well,
of
it
it
was
went
shot
with,
up all the hell too.
well, that too. Part of it went with
Yeah.
McLean
Right.
over past Udong into
Yeah.
the thing, and then I put you next to the 57th Field Artillery.
Right. Whatever troops were still uninjured or
Right.
frozen, they were just temporarily assigned to that task force.
Yeah.
To reinforce them.
Yeah, it
Right.
was just globs of people.
These lots of people to get up there,
Yeah.
which was the thing to do.
Right. Yeah, it makes
They
sense.
even had people when you came back. They had what is known as collecting points.
Mhm.
People infiltrating back, and when you get that, it's assigned you to a unit. If you could find a unit you originally was with, you just sneak over with them. You follow me?
Right.
Or you might get assigned to another regiment or another battalion, whatever.
Right.
As you come back, they try to get you. I guess if your unit had a headquarters, company or battalion had a headquarters, you could go back to them. You know.
Right. I mean,
But-
it really was a clusterfuck.
Well, yeah, it was, yeah, but a lot of people were just real signed. They lost a lot of people. They occurred. They might miss in the action. They were still living. Were signed to another, sent to another unit.
And found the paperwork caught up with them
Right.
way after the fact.
Right. And then later they was caught up. So the morning reports and stuff they had everybody's name and stuff on it. Those they were all gone.
Wow.
See, if I believe right, maybe this colonel you're talking about might know. I believe that we lost our colors up there, regimental colors up in Chosen somewhere.
Wow.
I can't swear to that, but I think we lost.
Well, expectations are not high about keeping the memory of a 17-year-old boy
Yeah.
in the mind of an 82-year-old man.
Right.
Let's be fair. You know,
Right.
we can only talk about what we can talk about.
Well, right.
And I feel like at this point I can put it to rest.
I think what me and you talked about is probably 99.9% true. So we can put it together and go with it, Bobby, because anything we write, especially about so many people lost their lives in Korea, and a lot of people, you know, it was like it was in Vietnam originally when we come back. After World War II, they just, as far as they were concerned, there wasn't going to be no more wars. Because Roosevelt and especially Truman said World War II ended all wars, like World War I was supposed to do.
Yeah, but World
But
War I
then,
was actually
yeah,
part
then
of
5
World War
years
II.
later we started this Korean thing.
Right.
And what we did originally was the right thing to do, was to protect the South Koreans, but then, like I said before,
We
and
didn't
I don't
stop.
mind going on the record saying that, I didn't know it at the time, but I know it now. We should have never went up to Yellow Road. We already defeated the army. We should have went back to 38th,
Yeah.
where we would start and sit right there. That would have ended it.
Yeah. You had all the control
Right.
of North
The
Korea.
North Korean army, without the Chinese, could have never had another invasion for 15, 20 years. No way.
Right.
They was eliminated, destroyed.
Okay.
And I don't even think they would have tried it. But when they got the support of the Chinese, and of course the big mouth Russians, you know, being honest with you, saying they support them,
Yeah.
I don't know.
They did.
But we helped Russia in World War II, and they helped us, supposedly, We did more for them. We saved them, and same as all these other countries, and they forget about it. So therefore, and even China, you know, why China would end up divided like they are and be against us, I don't know. I guess because somebody, it's like the Middle East now, what they're fighting about now is religion.
Right.
And I think it's, you know, it don't even make sense because and the communists, we don't like that type of leadership, dictatorship. I don't like it and wouldn't want to be part of it. But at the same time, there's no sense in losing 200,000 or 300,000 lives
Just to make the point.
just to make a point. You know, you got to protect the USA. You know, and the territories or the countries that we got treaties with. But short of that, we're not the world policemen. Maybe we were after World War II, but we're not now. We can't afford it, and we're not going to change the Middle East. You can go over there. We was had 12 years in Iraq, and that's back the way it was before we went there. It's worse.
Right.
It's worse now than it was.
Yeah.
You know, but we claimed the guy had weapons of mass destruction, and he was getting ready to eliminate the USA. That's a bunch of bull, and anybody who was in the Senate should have known that. You know, so all the lives we lost there is wasted.
Yeah.
We got nothing. We did nothing, and now we're back.
Oh yeah,
over
we did.
there.
We spent a shitload of money.
Right now
We
we're
spent
back.
a shitload of boots.
Yeah, we're back over there now, and if you can have friends in the Middle East, you need them. You need friends. Jordan, Saudi Arabia, Kuwait, you need them. But you take Iraq, for example. They invaded Kuwait. We went on and chased them out, and we had sense enough to stop and make a no-fly zone. And all of a sudden, the political leadership, politicians, and I'm going on record saying that, all of a sudden decided that somehow or another we should eliminate the dictator in Iraq.
Yeah.
And when we did, we just
And open the can of worms.
it's going to be thousands of more people die because we did that. That's not even dead now, Bobby.
Yeah.
They're not dead, but they may as well find a place to be buried because they're going to fight in Iraq as well as some of these other countries for the next 15, 20 years. But except for having terrorist cells maybe sneaking over in the United States, most of them is within,
Yeah.
they're not going to invade us.
No.
So ain't nobody going to invade us.
Right.
So we don't have to worry about it. So
One last thing. I keep finding this picture. I find this picture a lot.
it says east of it chosen, yeah.
Yeah. Now that book was written by a guy named Roy Appleman, who was a military historian along with a few other things. He did some time in D.C., so on and so forth.
Yeah.
He's considered the foremost authority thus far on that subject. Did you see that picture?
Yeah, I noticed some of these people got parkers on, but I never saw a parker in 1950s.
Well, yeah.
See these jackets had a parker, but it's definitely a outfit. See the footprints,
Yeah.
and it's definitely.
Well, I tell you what stands out to me on that. You know, you say you split your platoon up 4 and 3.
Right.
You look ahead of those 3 guys
Right.
in the front picture. In the back picture, you see 4.
Right.
I don't know if that's a picture of you. You tell me you never saw a parka, then.
I never saw a
But
parker.
maybe it's just something
This
that looks
guy's
like
got
a parka.
here.
Some of these guys wrap some stuff
Some
around
of them
them
got
just look
field
like a
jackets
parka.
on, yeah. But I never saw. In 1950, I didn't see a parka.
Really?
In 51, I saw them. Parka is a nice warm jacket issued by the military.
So you're okay. All right, so I think we can finally get past the 85th as well, because there's not really much there to be said.
No.
And after the 85th, you have your first introduction with the 26th. Is that correct?
When?
After you leave the 85th, you have your introduction with the 26th for the first time. That sound accurate?
Yeah,
All right,
85th Infantry at Fort Raleigh.
before Raleigh.
Yeah,
Right. But you end up
I went to Germany and joined the 26th.
enjoying the 26th.
Yeah, 26, that's why I met them
And you're at Bamberg, Germany.
at Bamberg.
Bamberg. What was your job duties in Bamberg?
I was a platoon sergeant.
Okay, so you're mustering troops, a little bit of training.
Yeah, it's 26th Infantry was a well-trained outfit, and Sergeant Major Doble was the regimental sergeant major,
Right.
and the Woodridge was first sergeant of King Company, Bill Woodridge. So they had just good soldiers there,
Right.
and you learn a lot. So I stayed there and trained with 26th Infantry.
So you had good bosses. You were well connected to some good
Oh.
bosses. Because Woolridge goes on to become the first sergeant major of the Army.